Want my help? You want my help? Oh, it's really strong.
I left the rocks in the thing of my
Yeah. These are all the rocks that Ben has given me. You want to sow the garlic?
No, I'll put the garlic in.
I mean, I guess we could try to put some of the garlics in here in our little Greenstalk tower garden thing. You want to put some of them in that? It's warm in here. Let's shed some layers. Oh yeah, 95. I don't mind that at all. Woke up this morning and the basket of garlic cloves sitting down in my basement, which has been looming for weeks and weeks. I just decided I couldn't stand it there anymore. I have to get these things planted. But I wasn't entirely sure that I hadn't missed my window of opportunity because it's December. However, I do live in the South and we still have relatively mild weather. Today, I think it's about 45 outside, really sunny. But I wasn't entirely sure, so I actually texted Luke from In My Gardener and was like, help, can I still plant my garlic? And he answered what I thought he was gonna say, and he said, absolutely, plant it, just go ahead and mulch it good. So I'm planting garlic today. And of course I have my trusty sidekick here. So let's tell our friends on YouTube a little bit about garlic, okay? Ben's still in his pajamas at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in case you guys needed to feel better about yourself as a parent.
Garlic smells so good.
Garlic smells so good, that's right. I mean, if you're not leaving the house, I don't see anything wrong with staying in your pajamas all day. Especially if you're a kid, because then it's less laundry for your mom. Right, Ben? I have a couple of different garlic varieties here. Some I got seed garlic at In My Gardener, and some I got as seed garlic from Baker Creek.
Baker Creek.
One of the big questions that gets asked when planting garlic is, can I just go plant the garlic from the store? And in a lot of cases, you actually can grow the garlic from the store. I'm actually planning on grabbing some garlic at the store tonight and planting it along with the rest of mine, just as an experiment to see how it goes. However, you should know that sometimes garlic from the store is sprayed with a sprout inhibitor to make it shelf stable for longer, and that sprout inhibitor can damage the way that it grows. Essentially, it'll sprout, it'll begin to grow, but it only will grow so much. It won't ever produce like bulbs. So it's just kind of a risk because obviously it's not labeled whether or not that happens. So if you're going to grow garlic from the store, if you're going to give that a try, your best bet is to get organic garlic and try with that. That's what I'm going to try and just kind of experiment along with these. The next thing to know whenever you're purchasing seed garlic is that there are two kinds of garlic. There's hard neck, which basically means it has a hard neck. And then there's soft neck, which means the neck is soft. You know, obviously you could have probably deduced that yourself, but hard neck garlic is what you plant to get scapes. So if you're wanting to harvest garlic scapes, you need to plant hard neck.
Soft one is bigger, right?
This particular soft one is bigger, but that's not the case with all garlics. There are some soft neck varieties that are larger and some hard neck varieties that are larger. Like, for instance, here's a hard neck variety that's quite large itself. So that the hard neck soft neck thing really doesn't have as much to do with size. However, if you want the scapes, you want to do the hard neck. If you want to braid, if you've seen like people braiding their heads of garlic, you're going to need soft neck varieties to make garlic braids. So typically people choose the soft neck for storing, and the hard neck is grown typically so that you can get scape. I am admittedly very late in planting my garlic this year, like I said. It's ideally done before you have your first freeze, and we are a few weeks past ours. However, we're still having warmish days, and so I'm not really concerned about it being totally frozen in the ground. But I am going to just experimentally throw a few of these cloves in this Greenstalk Tower planter behind me and see how they do here in the greenhouse. And you want to break it up without removing the papery film around each clove. So that is what helps keep it from rotting. And essentially when planting garlic, this is the top and this is the bottom. So when you plant it, you want to put it down like this in the soil because it will root here and sprout here. As far as favorite varieties go, I don't have one. I have not grown enough garlic to have developed favorites. So my take this year was kind of like, let's just try one of everything. These little bulbs of garlic that I'm going to plant in the greenhouse, I'm going to put a few cloves in here, are called Extra Hardy Porcelain. I've also got Moroccan Creole, this Dubna Standard, which is really pretty, got some purple streaking in it, a Kettle River Giant garlic, also very pretty with some purple streaking, Chestnut, that's a hardneck with some purple streaking, probably going to say this one was wrong, Inchilium Red, Inchilium. Interestingly enough, that one is completely white, but it's got red in the name. And just for the novelty of it, some elephant garlic. That's 1 clove. Pretty cool, huh? So I've got the cloves broken up here that we're going to plant in the Greenstalk, and then we will head down to the garden and I'll talk to you about planting garlic in the ground. Garlic typically needs a season of being cold before it grows, and a lot of times you can mimic that if you live somewhere warm by putting them in the freezer. These particular heads have been cool. They've been in storage, but I haven't had them in the freezer, so we'll see. It's getting pretty cool in the greenhouse at night because it's not heated yet, but we'll see what happens with these. It's purely experimental. Okay, so we've got some holes here, a couple inches apart each. We want to give them enough space to bulb up in there. You want to put it in? Look, this is the top and this is the bottom. Drop them in those holes. Put it in. You're probably going to have to work it down in there. There we go.
Okay, there.
Alright, just go a little deeper. Alright, so we planted this pot and the bottom tier of our Greenstalk with garlic. Now we're going to go down to the garden and put the rest of this garlic in the ground.
It's a great day.
It's a great day? I'm glad you think so. Hey, look. What's that?
Broccoli.
That's right. Isn't it pretty? It's doing okay. The garden is a mud hole. She's kind of sad when she's sleeping, huh, Benny?
How do we get past that?
We go back around the way we came. The collards, however, have never looked better. Check those beauties out. It's crazy to me how
Mom, I
this kale is a little frost damaged.
Very good.
But the pansies are still blossoming.
Mom, smell this one.
We're gonna plant this 4x4 foot bed with garlic. Only thing that's in here now is a couple of broccoli plants, and they won't mind sharing their space with this. Now you can see I've already got a little bit of mulch down here, but after we put this garlic down, we will put a few more inches of hay on top of it. Now I pulled back the mulch here a little bit. Gonna kind of pull back a section, plant it, and then put the mulch back on top. But for garlic, you want really loose, aerated, fluffy soil. You don't want it to be hard, clay, compacted soil, because garlic really needs to be in an area that is draining well. So it does really well in raised beds. The problem is that you're putting a clove of garlic in the ground and you're leaving it until next year. And in order for it to grow, it can't rot. And obviously cold, dark, and if it's wet and not draining, you're going to run into rotting issues. Make sure the soil's good and loose.
Yes. I want our soil loose. Because people want their soil loose, right?
Yeah, why do people want their soil loose?
And we want our soil loose, right?
Why?
Because we gotta poke holes, right?
Because we gotta poke holes. And because this will grow better and it drains better when it's loose.
And then we can eat it.
So we want to make our holes about 3 or 4 inches deep and just a few inches apart. Okay, that look good. So you take a clove and put it in, pokey end up, remember? Here, start on the end, the first hole.
This one?
Yep. Look at those purple cloves with this Moroccan Creole. Isn't that pretty? If I had to go solely based on looks and smell, this Moroccan Creole may take the cake. Man, it smells amazing and is beautiful.
Let me smell. It does.
I'm running out of light, so I'm gonna have to finish my garlic planting tomorrow, but I showed you guys enough that I feel like you probably can be confident in it. The last thing I have to plant today is these elephant garlic bulbs. Can you even? That is wild. That is a massive garlic bulb. It's as big as my palm. Now, to be fair, when I have purchased garlic at the store, elephant garlic has never been my favorite. It's not nearly as strong. I really wanted to grow this largely because of the novelty of it. It's just really interesting. If I were only going to be growing one kind of garlic, this probably wouldn't be my choice. It just doesn't have as strong a flavor in my experience. I've also only ever had it from the store. I've never had it homegrown before, so maybe homegrown it's better. I actually just had to look up elephant garlic because I've never grown this before, and it states that the huge leafy plants may become 3 feet tall. So they recommend spacing elephant garden 12 inches apart in rows 3 feet apart. So now the row spacing, I very rarely adhere to that. Rows are typically made 3-4 feet wide so that equipment can get down through them. As far as planting in raised beds, what I typically do, like if it says 12 inches apart, I just do 12 inches, you know, from each area. So like I don't want anything within 12 inches of the plant. That's just kind of my figuring on that, and it's served me well so far. So I have this space here left in this bed after planting my garlic, and I think I could probably only fit 2 of these massive cloves right here in this space. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna call it quits for the day because I'm running out of light. Oh, Kitten George, why is it always you? Do you like garlic? Do you like garlic, Kitten George? All right, as you can see here, I've taken this little tool and just rolled it around here to create my hole. And I've got those about 12 inches apart, a little closer to the edge, which should be fine. But I wanted to make sure that it had plenty of space between it and the other garlic that I've got growing here. Okay, drop these down in there. You are the fluffiest gardener I know. Hey, come on. We mulch with hay, not fluffy cats. Get out of the bed. He was rubbing up on the tripod and the camera. He must know that you guys love him. Is that what it is? Were you giving him some love? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today and for getting this garlic in the ground. It's exciting. A lot more planning to do tomorrow, but I will not complain. Any reason to have my hands in the soil in the middle of the December, I'm glad for it. And hopefully I wasn't too late for this to succeed. As with everything in gardening, you have to be willing for, you know, a little room for error. But I think it's gonna be okay. I've got it good and mulched here. I'm probably gonna go ahead and get a little bit more mulch. I got a couple inches down, but I would feel better if it was really heaped up on there. In the spring, we will take that mulch out and let this stuff sprout and then kind of mulch around it. But as of right now, we're wanting to keep that good and insulated in the ground until the weather starts to warm up again. Thank you guys for watching. I bless you. Until next time.